Gentlemen, if it's been years since you felt that powerful, vibrant firmness, I need you to listen closely. The problem isn't your age, and it's not your testosterone either. What's really happening inside your body is that the tiny veins in the penis, the same ones that once carried blood with youthful vigor, are gradually becoming blocked. Over time, they harden, narrow, and eventually, the blood can no longer reach where it's needed most. That's when the spark fades, confidence dims, and intimacy becomes just a memory. But here's the truth that almost no one tells you. Those veins can be cleaned naturally. When that happens, the penis comes alive again, firm, full, and sensitive, just like when you were 18. I'm Dr. Elena Ramírez, a board-certified urologist and specialist in men's health with over 30 years helping men reclaim their vitality and performance. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s restore their blood flow, energy, and desire without a single pill. And the most surprising part? The solution isn't in a pharmacy. It's right in your refrigerator. Because certain common fruits have the power to open blocked blood vessels, boost nitric oxide, and reactivate circulation exactly where it matters. So stick with me. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal the specific fruits that can make your blood flow as strong as it was decades ago, safely, naturally, and effectively. And one of them, if used correctly, can start working in as little as 30 minutes. You won't want to miss this. Before we continue, if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss another science-based tip designed especially for men over 60. And if you're ready to take control of your circulation and reclaim that youthful energy, write a 1 in the comments. If you'd like us to discuss other topics or improvements, write a 0. Your comments really help me create even more useful videos for you. Now, let's start with a truth that most men never hear. The real reason erections weaken after 60 isn't age or hormones. It's what's happening silently inside your blood vessels. Understanding this will change how you see your body, and most importantly, how you restore it. First, the real reason erections weaken over the years. Many men I know think their loss of firmness is just part of aging. They tell me, "Doctor, I guess this is normal after 60." But that belief, though common, couldn't be more wrong. Age alone doesn't destroy your performance. What really happens starts much earlier, silently inside your arteries. When you were young, your vessels were smooth, flexible, and wide. Blood flowed easily, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell, even those in the penis. But over time, small changes accumulate. The food we choose, daily stress, lack of movement, it all leaves a mark. Gradually, a thin layer of plaque begins to coat the inside of the arteries. Imagine it like rust forming inside a pipe. At first, it's invisible. You feel fine. But over the years, that buildup narrows the passage, hardens the walls, and reduces blood flow. And here's what most men don't understand. The arteries that feed your penis are among the smallest in your entire body. Sometimes, they're no wider than a strand of spaghetti. That's why, when circulation starts to decline, they're the first to suffer. Long before the heart shows any signs of trouble, your body sends an early warning in the most discreet way possible. Weaker erections aren't an accident. They're your body's way of whispering that something's wrong with the flow. I've seen it hundreds of times in my practice. A man comes in worried about his performance, quiet, embarrassed, convinced his best years are behind him. But when we check his blood pressure, cholesterol, and lifestyle, the real story emerges. His circulation has been slowing for years. His blood vessels, especially those feeding the pelvic area, have lost flexibility. It's not a failure of masculinity. It's a failure of blood flow. And the good news is, that flow can be restored. One of my patients, Javier, was 65 when he sat across from me and said, "Doctor, I feel fine. I walk, I eat healthy, but things just don't work like they used to. We ran some simple tests, and sure enough, his arteries showed early signs of stiffness. Nothing serious, nothing dangerous, but enough to limit blood passage to the most delicate areas. When I explained that his body wasn't broken, it just needed better supply, I could see the relief in his eyes. "So, this isn't permanent?" he asked. "No, if you act now," I replied. What fascinates me most about the human body is its ability to heal. The same arteries that narrow over time can open up again. The same vessels that harden can regain their flexibility, and you don't need any extreme treatments to achieve it. Sometimes, it all starts with something as simple as changing what's on your plate, because every meal either cleans your circulation or blocks it. And if you've unknowingly been choosing foods that clog it, that's about to change. This is where science meets simplicity. Certain common, humble, seasonal fruits have been shown to support the inner lining of blood vessels, increase nitric oxide production, and help arteries open naturally again. They don't just benefit your heart or brain, they reach your most intimate and vital areas, helping you reclaim the energy, confidence, and strength you thought you'd lost. So, before you accept that your best days are over, remember this: your body hasn't given up on you. It's just asking for help. And when you give it the right fuel, the change can be extraordinary. In the next segment, I'll show you the exact fruits that can restore your circulation where you need it most. One of them is so potent that some researchers call it nature's Viagra. Let's take a closer look. Part 2. Discover the 4 fruits that naturally boost circulation and intimacy. When I started my career in urology, I was trained, like most doctors, to look for medical causes, prescribe drugs, and analyze charts and lab results. And for many years, that's exactly what I did. But something inside me knew a key piece was missing. I was helping men with pills, yes, but deep down, I knew those pills just masked the problem, not solved it. Everything changed when I truly started listening to my older patients. I remember one in particular, a retired firefighter in his 70s. He looked strong, didn't smoke, and walked every morning. Still, he came to see me because he said he no longer felt like himself. When I asked about his diet, he smiled and said, "Doctor, I eat the usual: meat, potatoes, and maybe a beer at dinner." But then he paused and added, "My wife makes me drink this weird red juice every day. She says it's good for the heart." That juice turned out to be pomegranate, and when I reviewed his blood work, I noticed his circulation markers had improved. That small daily habit was doing something powerful for his arteries and his confidence. It was then that I began studying nutrition more deeply, especially how certain fruits influence the male vascular system. The results I discovered completely changed how I treat my patients today. These fruits aren't exotic or expensive. They don't come from faraway places. They're simple, accessible, and affordable, but packed with compounds that directly nourish blood vessel linings. We're talking natural substances called polyphenols, flavonoids, and antioxidants that the body uses to produce nitric oxide, the key molecule that lets blood flow freely. I started recommending these fruits to my patients, not as a substitute for medications, but as part of a holistic approach to restoring circulation. And the results were extraordinary. Men who once felt hopeless began telling me they were waking up with morning erections again. Others said their energy had returned, their mood was more positive, and intimacy with their partners felt alive after years of distance, all from simply adding some natural foods to their daily routine. The most surprising thing is that these fruits don't just benefit sexual health. They rejuvenate the entire vascular system, support the heart, brain, energy levels, and even sleep. That's the beauty of working with nature. It doesn't heal just one thing. It restores balance throughout the body. I started calling them foundational fruits because when you nourish your circulation, everything else, your confidence, stamina, and connections, starts rebuilding from within. And to be honest, seeing these transformations up close changed me as a doctor. It reminded me why I chose medicine. Not to help men just survive, but to help them truly heal. Every time a patient sits across from me and says, "Doctor, I feel like myself again," it's proof that nature still knows what it's doing. We just need to listen. So now, when a man over 60 walks into my office worried about his performance, I don't start with a prescription. I start with his kitchen. Because what you eat every day either fuels your blood flow or blocks it, bit by bit. And in this case, the right fruits can be as powerful as any medication. In a moment, I'll show you the 4 exact fruits I recommend to nearly all my patients over 60. Each one has its own way of stimulating nitric oxide, cleaning arteries, and reactivating sensitivity. And one of them, according to research, can start improving blood flow in as little as 30 minutes. Let's start with the first fruit, the one I call nature's Viagra. Number 1. Pomegranate. Nature's Viagra for older men. I'll never forget the first time I truly understood this fruit's power. A man named Jorge, 68, came to my office. Recently divorced, he was trying to start dating again. His face showed a mix of hope and shame. He told me, "Doctor, everything works. Except that." He pointed discreetly downward and looked away. I could feel the frustration in his voice. He wasn't looking for another pill or excuse. He just wanted to feel like himself again. I listened quietly, then smiled. "Jorge, you might be surprised to know the solution isn't in a prescription. It's probably in your own refrigerator." That's when I told him about the pomegranate, a fruit so rich in nutrients and natural compounds that some scientists call it the fountain of circulation. What makes it special is a rare antioxidant called punicalagin. It's not found in most foods, and it's incredibly effective at helping the body produce nitric oxide, the molecule that lets blood flow freely. The same one drugs like Viagra try to mimic. But unlike synthetic pharmaceuticals, pomegranate works gently, naturally, and sustainably. It doesn't force your body to react. It teaches your blood vessels to relax and open again, allowing blood to reach the areas that need it most. I started recommending a small glass of pure pomegranate juice to my patients. Not the sugary store-bought kind, but natural, cold-pressed, deep red, and unsweetened. A few weeks later, Jorge returned. The moment he walked into my office, I knew something had changed. He stood taller, with a broad smile. "Doctor," he said, "I don't know what that juice has, but I'm feeling things I haven't felt in years." That phrase reminded me why I chose medicine. Because when you give the body what it truly needs, it knows how to heal. Pomegranate doesn't just help with erections. It reduces inflammation, improves heart health, and protects the prostate. 3 essentials for every man over 60. When your arteries are healthier, blood pressure improves, energy rises, and your whole system works in harmony again. That's nature's quiet strength. It doesn't force change. It restores balance. What I love most about pomegranate is how easily it fits into daily life. You can drink its juice, eat its seeds, or add it to a smoothie. And unlike a quick fix, the more you consume it, the stronger its effects become. Think of it as food for your blood vessels. Every sip, every bite, slowly cleans those tiny channels that carry blood to your most vital organs. Over time, your circulation improves, your stamina grows, and your confidence returns. I've seen countless men benefit from this small change. Husbands who thought passion was a thing of the past, rediscovering vitality and desire. Many retirees have told me they now have more energy to play with their grandkids, more life in their days. And no, it's not magic. It's pure biology. When blood flows freely, everything in your body improves. Your heart, your brain, your mood, and yes, your masculine vitality too. So if you're wondering where to start, begin here. Add this red, vibrant fruit to your daily routine and let your body remember what it feels like to be full of energy. Because sometimes, healing isn't about discovering something new. It's about returning to what's natural, what our ancestors already knew. But while pomegranate is incredibly powerful, there's another fruit that takes this to a whole new level. It contains a natural amino acid that your body turns into pure energy to boost blood flow. And if consumed at the right time, it can start working in as little as 30 minutes. Let me show you which one. Fruit number 2, watermelon, the natural citrulline booster. I still remember the afternoon that changed how I see watermelon forever. It was one of those hot summer days when the air feels thick and heavy. I was visiting my parents and helping my dad with some yard work. After hours under the sun, we were both drenched in sweat. He went inside and came back with 2 thick slices of fresh watermelon. We sat on the porch, juice dripping between our fingers, and he grinned, saying, "You know, this fruit always makes me feel like a new man." At the time, I just laughed, thinking it was one of those typical dad sayings. But that night, curiosity got the better of me, and I started researching. What I discovered left me amazed. Watermelon isn't just a refreshing summer fruit. It's a natural source of nutrients with a direct impact on circulation and male performance. The secret is a compound called L-citrulline. When you eat watermelon, your body converts it into another amino acid, arginine, which in turn produces nitric oxide, the same molecule that relaxes and opens blood vessels. The result? Better blood flow, more oxygen, and firmer, longer-lasting erections. The process is so similar to certain prescription meds that some scientists call watermelon nature's Viagra. And the best part? It works without side effects. I remember Tomas, a retired police officer in his 70s. He was strong, disciplined, used to caring for others, but he'd stopped caring for himself. When he came to see me, he was frustrated, not just because his performance had declined, but because he felt tired and disconnected. I told him about watermelon's L-citrulline and suggested swapping his usual dessert for a plate of fresh slices every evening. 2 weeks later, he called my office, bursting with enthusiasm. "Doctor, I don't know what's happening, but my energy is back. I sleep better, and well, things are working again." He laughed like a kid, pride in his voice. That's the real beauty. You're not forcing your body. You're giving it what it needs to work like it used to. And the most impressive thing about watermelon? It doesn't just improve circulation. It hydrates the body, lowers blood pressure, and provides antioxidants that protect arteries from future damage. As we age, dehydration becomes a silent enemy. Over the years, blood thickens, circulation slows, and the body struggles to deliver oxygen where it's needed most. Watermelon, with its high water content and natural electrolyte balance, helps keep blood fluid, preserving blood vessels' flexibility and openness. Every juicy bite is like a quiet tune-up for your heart, brain, and yes, your masculine vitality too. For men who find healthy habits hard to maintain, watermelon is the perfect first step. It's sweet, refreshing, and easy to incorporate. Enjoy it chilled at night, blend it into a smoothie, or share it with your partner after dinner. It's one of those small pleasures that can make a big difference. The results show not just in your energy and performance, but in how you feel about yourself. When circulation improves, life improves. I often tell my patients, food is nature's most honest medicine, and watermelon is one of its best examples. It doesn't just heal, it revives, bringing warmth back to the body, clarity to the mind, and confidence to your relationships. But if you think watermelon is surprising, wait until you meet the next fruit. It's smaller, darker, and often overlooked, yet it contains one of the most powerful antioxidants ever discovered, one that not only boosts circulation, but also stimulates testosterone and vitality from within. Let me introduce you to it. Fruit number 3, black grapes. Small fruit, big impact on circulation. There's something special about black grapes. They don't grab attention like tropical fruits. They're discreet, humble, almost ordinary. But sometimes the quietest things are the ones that transform lives. I learned that lesson years ago when I met Javier, a quiet 73-year-old man. He didn't come to me for performance issues. He came because he felt the color had drained from his life. His energy was low, his mood flat, and though he loved his wife deeply, he admitted their intimacy had faded gradually over the years. "Doctor," he said, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't feel alive anymore." As he spoke, I saw deep sadness in his eyes, the kind that comes from believing your best days are behind you. But I didn't see a broken man. I saw someone whose body simply needed to wake up. I explained that what he felt was common. For many men, the age-related drop in blood flow doesn't just affect physical performance. It impacts mood, motivation, and even joy. Then I suggested something simple. Add a small handful of black grapes to your daily routine. He laughed. "That's it? Grapes?" I smiled back. "Yes, that's it, but trust me, they're not ordinary grapes. What many don't know is that black grapes contain one of science's most potent antioxidants, Resveratrol. It's found in the dark skin of the grape, and it does something extraordinary inside the body. It protects the inner lining of arteries, helping them stay flexible, smooth, and healthy. Resveratrol reduces oxidative stress, that invisible damage that builds up over years from inflammation and poor diet. It also helps blood vessels open wider, improving circulation throughout the body. In other words, it reactivates life in your bloodstream. But that's not all. Resveratrol also supports natural testosterone production, which becomes increasingly important as men age. And when circulation and hormones improve together, you start feeling like yourself again, stronger, more confident, more connected to yourself and others. A few weeks later, Javier returned to my office with a completely different look in his eyes. His energy was back, his mood lifted, and with a shy smile he said, "Doctor, it's like someone turned the lights on again." That phrase stuck with me, because it reminded me that vitality isn't just physical. It's emotional too. When the body gets the blood and oxygen it needs, the mind and spirit wake up with it. I've seen that story repeat time and again. Men who thought it was too late to change discover that with consistency and the right foods, the body responds beautifully. A small daily portion of fresh or frozen black grapes can make a real difference. They're easy to eat and work quietly, repairing, restoring, and revitalizing from within. They don't just restore circulation, they restore life. I often tell my patients black grapes are like nature's silent electricians. They turn the lights on in the body's darkened corners. Every handful nourishes your arteries, protects your heart, and sends oxygen-rich blood to every part of you. That's how intimacy, strength, and confidence rebuild. Not by forcing change, but by feeding it. And if you've ever felt your spark dim, remember this little fruit. Its power isn't in its size, but in consistency. The longer you make it part of your daily life, the deeper the results. But what if there was a fruit that could do even more? One that not only supports circulation, but cleans arteries from within, helping regain flexibility, improve heart health, and strengthen energy in the lower body with firmer, steadier flow. The surprising part? That fruit might already be on your breakfast table. Let's talk about it. Fruit number 4, citrus fruits. Clean arteries from the inside out. A few years ago, I met Guillermo, a retired naval engineer who came to my office with a small spiral notebook. In it, he'd tracked everything he ate, drank, and did each day. "Doctor," he said, "I'm not looking for another pill. I just want to feel alive again." As I flipped through his notes, something jumped out. Every morning without fail, he drank a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice. Not from a carton, but homemade, natural. I smiled because Guillermo didn't realize it, but he was already doing something incredibly powerful for his circulation. Citrus fruits, like oranges, grapefruits, lemons, and limes, are one of the most underrated tools for restoring healthy blood flow. Most people associate them just with vitamin C. But inside these fruits lies something even more important: flavonoids, especially one called hesperidin. This compound works deep in your arteries, strengthening vessel walls, improving flexibility, and reducing inflammation. Imagine your arteries as small garden hoses. Over years, they harden, clog, and lose their ability to carry water, or in this case, blood, where it's needed most. Hesperidin acts like a natural cleaner. It removes built-up debris and helps keep your blood vessels smooth and open, allowing blood to flow freely again. And when blood flow improves, everything in your body changes. Energy rises, the mind clears, and even intimacy begins to rebirth. Guillermo, my patient, started with something very simple. He added lemon drops to his water, ate an orange with breakfast, and half a grapefruit at lunch. Nothing flashy, nothing expensive, but deeply effective. After a few months, came back for his checkup. His face looked brighter, his energy noticeably improved, and with a smile he said, "Doctor, I walk faster, breathe better, and even sleep like a baby. I never imagined fruit could change so much." His story isn't an exception. It's what happens when you give your body the food it's always craved. Citrus fruits also help reduce oxidative stress, that silent damage from years of poor diet, inactivity, or toxin exposure. Plus, they boost nitric oxide levels, keeping arteries relaxed and the heart strong. And unlike artificial supplements, citrus offers complete benefits: fiber, hydration, and minerals that support the whole system, not just one part. You're not treating a symptom, you're rebuilding the foundation of your health, from the heart to the skin. And yes, your most intimate areas too. I often tell my patients, your body wants to heal. You just have to stop getting in the way. Every orange slice, every lemon drop, every natural juice sip gives your body the tools to do it. You don't need a complicated plan or costly treatments. Just small, consistent steps to bring your circulation back to life. That's the beauty of natural medicine. It doesn't force the body, it restores it. When I think of Guillermo's story, I remember how simple his secret was. He didn't chase quick fixes or wait for motivation. He built small, daily rituals that nourished him day by day. Sometimes healing isn't about doing more, it's about doing less, but doing it right. That's what citrus fruits teach us: to pause, simplify, and trust that consistency is what truly transforms. So next time you make your morning drink, skip the sugary coffee or processed juices. Instead, squeeze an orange, add lemon drops to your water, or toss lime slices into your lunch. They're small choices, but powerful ones. Over time, they strengthen the arteries that feed every cell, every organ, every heartbeat, and yes, every intimate moment too. But there's something I've learned after decades working with men over 60. Even the most powerful fruits have limits if your daily habits work against them. True transformation happens when diet and lifestyle align. In the next part, I'll show you the simple, everyday habits that can amplify all these results. And you don't need gyms, supplements, or fancy equipment. Just small changes to reactivate the body's natural strength from within. 7 habits that amplify the benefits of these fruits. Over the years, I've learned something profound from my patients. It's not just about what you eat, but how you live. You can stock your fridge with the best fruits, but if your daily habits quietly work against you, results will always feel out of reach. The human body is like an orchestra. Every instrument must play in harmony for the music to sound right. And when it comes to circulation and male vitality, the same rule applies. Diet builds the foundation, but your habits determine how solid it stays. One of the simplest and most powerful habits I teach all men over 60 is movement. I'm not talking marathons or weights like in your 20s. I mean walking. That pure, steady, gentle motion that tells your blood vessels, stay open, stay flexible. I had a patient, Roberto, 68, who started with just 20 minutes after breakfast and 20 after dinner. 3 months later, his blood pressure had dropped, his energy had surged, and he told me something that made me smile. "Doctor, I didn't change my diet much, but during intimacy, I feel like my body remembered how to respond." Walking seems simple, but it's one of the most effective ways to remind your body it's still alive, strong, and capable of change. Another silent hero is hydration. Blood is nearly 90% water, and when you're dehydrated, even mildly, circulation thickens and slows. Many men don't realize that slight dehydration can make the heart work twice as hard to pump blood. I always say, you can eat perfectly, but if you don't drink enough water, you're cutting your results in half. Start your day with a big glass before coffee, and carry a bottle wherever you go. No need to overcomplicate. Just be consistent. Your blood vessels, brain, and even erections will thank you. Sleep is perhaps the most underrated tool for male vitality. During deep rest, the body repairs damaged blood vessels, balances hormones, and restores energy. Testosterone, that fuel of masculinity, is produced mostly during deep sleep. But when you sacrifice rest, everything suffers: circulation, mood, focus, confidence. Many men tell me they can't remember the last time they woke feeling truly refreshed. After working together to improve sleep, cutting caffeine, sticking to a fixed bedtime, and avoiding screens before bed, they return weeks later like new people. Their eyes brighter, posture firmer, voice steadier. That's what happens when you let the body rest as it was designed to. And finally, there's one habit most men overlook, but that has a huge impact on blood flow and energy: reducing foods that silently damage arteries. Processed meats, fried foods, and excess alcohol inflame blood vessels, the same ones the fruits try to heal. I always say, think of your arteries as delicate roads. Every bad meal is like throwing rocks on the path. Every good choice clears and keeps them open. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Because the truth is, small daily decisions add up faster than you think. I've seen men over 70 completely transform their vitality by combining these habits with the fruits we've discussed. They didn't chase fads or spend on pricey supplements. They focused on what really works: clean eating, simple movement, deep rest, good hydration, and moderation. It's a lifestyle that builds energy instead of draining it, strengthens the body instead of wearing it down, and it's never too late to start. When you align your diet with your daily actions, something magical happens. You stop surviving and start living fully again. Fatigue fades, the spark returns, and that quiet confidence emerges, the kind that says, "I'm back." And in that moment, everything else, your relationships, intimacy, joy, starts to flourish. But now I want to speak to you directly, not just as your doctor, but as someone who's walked this path with thousands of men. 8. Final message from doctor to patient. If you've made it this far, I want to take a moment to speak to you, not in a white coat, but from the heart of someone who's heard thousands of stories like yours. Stories full of frustration, silence, and sometimes loss. I've seen men who once felt strong, full of energy and purpose, start doubting themselves when their bodies stopped responding like before. And I've seen how that pain goes beyond the physical. It touches pride, relationships, even sense of identity. But I want you to hear this clearly. You're not broken. You haven't passed your prime, and it's not too late to feel alive again. What you learned today isn't just about fruits. It's about circulation, vitality, and a simple truth: your body still wants to heal. It's been asking for help, maybe through signals like fatigue, restless sleep, or intimacy that doesn't feel the same. Those aren't failures, they're messages. Messages from your heart, your blood, your energy, asking for attention and care. And the most beautiful part? Nature already gave us what we need to reclaim it. The pomegranate that awakens nitric oxide and floods your body with oxygen-rich blood. The watermelon that boosts L-citrulline and opens vessels, returning firmness and energy. The black grapes that nourish arteries and support healthy testosterone levels. The citrus fruits that gently clean and strengthen vessel walls, letting life flow through you again. Each one is a tool, a silent ally working from within. And when you combine them with steady movement, good rest, and simple habits, the transformation becomes real. I've seen men who thought their time was up return with more life than ever. Because the secret isn't doing more, it's listening to your body, caring for it, and letting nature do its part. Their wives have called me to say thanks. Doctor, I don't know what you told him, but it's like he's 20 years younger. And I always reply the same. It wasn't magic. It was respect. Respect for the body's incredible ability to heal itself when given the chance. Your blood vessels can open again. Your energy can return. Your confidence can strengthen. Every day you choose to act. As we close this message, I want you to think of something very simple. Every change starts with one decision. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't need perfection. Just start. Start with one fruit, one walk, one better night's sleep. Those small, repeated decisions, day after day, become strength, vitality, and passion. For years, you've dedicated yourself to caring for others. Now it's time to care for yourself. And if what you heard today touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let another man hear that there's still hope, that age doesn't mark the end of intimacy, desire, or energy, because that spark you thought was lost can reignite with patience, faith, and the right fuel. I've seen it so many times. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s reclaiming their energy, confidence, and joy of living. Men who thought their story was over discovered they were just beginning a new chapter. You can do this too. Take this knowledge, apply it, and let your body remind you what true strength feels like. Because when circulation returns, life returns too. And when life returns, everything improves. The heart, health, connection with those you love, and that sense of well-being you'd forgotten. No matter your age or how long it's been, your body is still here, waiting for a signal to start anew. Give it that chance. Believe in it. Care for it. Fuel it with what nature already offers. And you'll see how, little by little, vitality, desire, and joy become part of you again. Because in the end, this isn't just a story about fruits or healthy habits. It's a story about rebirth, about remembering you can still wake each morning with energy. Look ahead and say to yourself with pride, I'm alive, and this time, I'm truly living.